And now. Okay. Put the comments over here. Okay. All right. So, do you ever feel like you're in that season where it's just a lot of turbulence in life, and you're like, man, why am I feeling unrest? Why am I feeling the challenges? Or why I'm feeling really unrestful at this time? Excuse me. Why I'm feeling unrestful at this time? Um, this is the podcast for you. This is the conversation for you, and so we're looking forward to diving into it.
Yes, absolutely. And if you are hearing nasally vibes and things like that, our family got hit with some kind of bug and we're all getting over it right now. So bear with us, but I feel like you will still get to enjoy this podcast. So stick around. We really think this will bless you.
All right. So where do we start?
I guess I don't want to give anything away though, but I'm just trying to remember back the year everything kind of began.
Mhm.
Um, the moment in the closet.
Excuse me.
I can't remember what year that was. It was 2016.
Man, yeah, it had to be 2016 because Victory was born. Yeah, it had been 2016.
Yeah.
So
So
I'd been in my job for a little while, maybe about 4 years at this
mhm.
point, and and we always had dreams and desires to do big things. But honestly, like a lot of things, man, it takes money to do that, right? And we're just like, even though I'm in a sales job, it's an industrial sales, good job, and we made made okay money, for us to have a single income household and to operate.
Yeah.
Um, but man, it wasn't enough. When you have dreams and then you look at your income, you're like, good night, man. How do we get there?
Yeah.
But what happened? We got this deep unrest, um, just really unsettling rest. We're like, and it had to be like November, and so we're like, man, I think God is leading me to leave my job.
Yeah. So God was taking us on a journey. Actually, at that point, we didn't know about leaving the job yet.
Yeah.
We didn't know what the feeling was.
Oh yeah.
And so it was, we did something that we've literally never done. And I don't think we heard anyone say that they did this.
Yeah.
It's just a calling maybe from the Holy Spirit. Roll and I went and got in the closet, which we've never done before, or well, maybe we've done it after a few times, but
Yeah.
we never did it before then.
Yeah.
It was totally foreign to us.
Yeah.
We sat on the floor of this closet that was not made into a prayer closet, by the way. It was nothing deep and wonderful. I think I had one scripture on the wall in there.
This was before a war room.
Yeah, this was before a war room, I believe.
Yeah.
But and so we sat on the floor of this closet and we agreed to each other that we were going to listen for a word from the Lord.
Mhm.
Also, never done that before, intently like that.
Yeah.
And we were both going to write it down on a piece of paper and not show the other person until we heard that we both got a word, and then we'd show it. That way we'd know without a shadow of a doubt that the Lord was speaking. And so we prayed together. We waited on the Lord to give us a word. And then we wrote down what we felt we heard.
Yeah.
And then we showed it to each other. And it was literally the exact same thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so if you're going through a storm, this is the secret about being married, man. You can do these kind of things together. You can join together in prayer and go into the closet and just see God about a matter. And so when we did that, literally, we both wrote the same word down, and it was real estate.
It was real estate by March, I believe.
Yeah.
The date was March, and it was to go into real estate. And then the word was March. And so we said in our hearts and mind, okay.
Yeah. And up until that point, we had no idea. Like we didn't know anything about, excuse me. We didn't know anything about real estate. No, I mean nothing. All we knew, what we heard about, real estate agents. We worked with one,
Mm-hmm.
but that was it.
Yeah, that was
Like
it.
that was it.
We didn't. We hadn't even really thought much about getting into real estate, to be honest with you. I mean, the Lord had led us down a few, MLMs.
Yeah.
I don't have beef with MLMs, but some people do, and we did okay
Mm-hmm.
in them. But it wasn't the kind of growth that we wanted and the kind of system that we wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Or I don't even know if wanted is the word I want to use, but it wasn't working how we wanted it to. And so we knew that that wasn't the avenue to go. No beef against MLMs, though. I will put that out there because some people got mad beef with them. And honestly, stop hating.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyways,
Yeah, ridiculous.
So we didn't know anything about real estate at the time. March came, Roland was ready to put in his notice at work, and something crazy happened.
Well, just to back up, so that was November, and so we learned about wholesaling, and so then started wholesaling. Started the process of learning what wholesaling was and all these things, and then so that was November. By January, we closed our first wholesale deal, and it was super cool. We made like $20,000. It was like, oh my gosh, this is more than my bonus for the whole year, and like in like 60 days. It was like, oh man, this is legit. And so we're like, okay, cool. God's word was true. Like, okay, man, he showed us. We went through the process, met a owner, met a buyer, did the deal, and it worked. And money deposited. And I was like, wow. And so March gets here, and then we're like, okay, we're going to double down and we're going to make this thing happen. Well, March comes, and then
and he was about to put in his notice.
Yeah, I was going to put in my notice.
So we thought this is what God wanted us to do. This is working, and then.
And so then, a company calls a big old meeting and was like, "Hey, we're getting ready to get rid of your sales department." It was like, "What?" So people were freaking out, and I was like, I was rejoicing because I was like, "Oh my goodness, God told me that we're going to leave this company in March." And literally, the first week of March, they eliminate. Excuse me. They eliminate my sales position.
That was crazy.
That was crazy.
So they eliminated his sales position. He had I think maybe a month or so left at the company before his position was dissolved.
Yeah, they gave us a severance.
But this is the cool part. They released them with a severance. They also released them with they could apply for other jobs and they'd be the first considered for another job if they wanted to. But Roland chose not to because we had this plan.
It was like, shoot,
from the Lord.
God showed us, man. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. So God told us to do this. We know that this is the route we're going to take. So he didn't apply for another job. He took his severance and we went for it.
And we ran for it, man. We invested in the business and we learned a lot. We failed a lot too. And so, which that's what I mean. Learn a lot. We learned a lot. And the crazy part, we didn't close another deal till like August.
Yeah.
And we were trying. I mean, trying. We were knocking on doors. We're doing all the things, right? And so I remember some of these investors like, yeah, man, you got to be spending $15K a month in marketing, just to get you a couple of deals. And I was like, oh my goodness. Like I said, well, between me and my God, maybe I don't need 15 grand. I need 15 minutes of prayer.
Period.
Excuse me. And so we're going for it, and man, nothing was happening. And so then we get to August, we're out of money. Like there's literally no more money coming. And then we get to August.
We spent a lot of the money on marketing because that's what we were told we were supposed to do.
Our normal budget, but it was a lot.
Which maybe we should have went back to the closet and asked God what's with the money, but we were following the advice of people who had been in the industry. So
yeah. So I do want to encourage you. Goodness.
Forgive us, y'all. We've been going through. I think this is the first day I've actually noticed Roland having a cough this bad, but
So
it's gonna be okay,
yeah,
babe.
we'll be all right. So we were going for it, and weren't getting anywhere. And we were. I think God was working some things out. We get to August, we're out of money. Well, once August comes, I actually closed another deal, like literally when we ran out of money. And we had enough to cover our bills for August. Well, at that same time, another guy was looking to hire someone like what I was doing as a wholesaler, and we was like, okay, and so we came on with him, and then I had the option between working for him, and then I also had the opportunity to go back to my company, and so we came to we came to the fork in the road. The fork in the road was comfort or we trust God, right? We trust God, or do we go comfort? Trust. There we go. Trying to make him in the frame here. Comfort or God, and literally, the fact, this is what we learned, man. We were walking through the wilderness. God's bringing us out of Egypt. We're walking in the wilderness. We're heading to the promised land because God said that we were going to do real estate, and so we're walking. Then and we see the promised land, right? And then we see the giants, right? And for us, right, for me personally, it was if we run out of money, we're gonna be on the streets. And I'm like, we will not be living in a cardboard box under 288. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, we ain't doing that. We're not gonna do welfare and no hate, no shade to anybody on welfare. But I just didn't want that. We seen that growing up. We're not gonna do poverty. And and I'm like, man, so I'm looking like we don't got the money. Like this is it. And so either it was walk by faith or just go back to comfort. And I chose comfort. I went back to my old company, and they welcomed me back, arms wide open, right? And here we spent time in the wilderness, right? We were getting manna. Like God was providing. I hit annual achievers, all kind of things, right? And it seemed like it was great, but it wasn't the promise. It was manna. It was quail here and there, right? And it's crazy part, like I couldn't ever, like every time I tried to get promoted, all the things that was just blocking, I couldn't exceed even more so that I wanted to in corporate America. And I think it was because God had a better plan for us, right? And so he kind of kept us locked at manna. It was enough to cover bills, enough to eat, right? Enough to not be under the bridge, enough to take a vacation. Now the elaborate one, it was more like camping, right?
We like camping.
Camping, like with tents. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Listen, we went traveling. Okay.
But then we went traveling, right? And so when we got to the point of traveling again, it was another opportunity to jump back out on faith and say, okay, God, we're going to trust you. And we get out there and we last about a year. And so that's where this whole channel came from. We built the whole channel based upon that period of time. And it was awesome, man. We had a great time. But then we ran out of money, right?
Yep.
And here we're at the fork in the road again. Do we continue to trust him or do we go back to comfort? Right? I went back to comfort yet again. Because that giant of poverty is real. It's real. It is real, man. That fear of not having enough money, not being able to make it, your kids eating peanut butter and jelly all the time. And spam.
I mean, don't get us wrong. We like a good PB&J sandwich.
We eat PB&J. Look, for real. Like, don't twist what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Right. I mean,
but you get the point. Like, we weren't trying to be poor, not poor. Being able to, provide and eat and live. And so we kept going back to comfort, but there was so much loving grace every single time. Because it wasn't ever like we felt like God was mad at us. It was always like, I'm going to care for you no matter which road you choose. And I'm going to take my time because I know you're going to get there. That kind of love.
Yeah. Yeah. So I want to encourage you, right? If life is getting turbulent, right? And you're like, man, I think God is pulling me to another direction. And it seems scary for whatever reason. right? Whatever the fear is, whatever the lie is, that's breathing real, and it might be factual. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think sometimes we look at fear like all fear is lying. What? I mean, fear is it's talking about facts. You know, you sitting there like, oh man, it's fire. Yeah, it's fire. It's real fire. But is that fire going to burn you? Is a real possibility that it can burn you.
Yeah.
But if God said walk through it, it's not going to burn you. But if you're looking at it, you're like, I feel the heat.
Yeah.
The heat is real.
And that's exactly right. I mean, we have to think about the fact that fear is definitely a tool of the enemy. And he doesn't always, he's a liar, but he's cunning, and he also tells the truth.
Yes. That's a different, like, man, hold on. We got to like sit on this for a second.
Yeah.
Cause like when we look at the serpent in the garden, right? I mean, he twisted literal words. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Like he like did he really? Did he really say you're gonna die?
Yep.
And that emphasis on doubt is really where it went south, right? Because it's like you're gonna die. But they weren't going to die instantly. They was going to die those long, slow death.
They instantly, in that moment, started to die.
Yes.
But they didn't drop dead. You know what I mean?
Entered them.
Death entered them. Yeah.
Right.
But that's how cunning the enemy is when he comes with you with things like fear. And the Bible tells us that fear is what? It's of torment. So if fear is of torment and the accuser of the brethren is trying to torment you, then that's what he's going to use. And he's going to use oftentimes the truth. So something you can visually see. This is physical in front of me. This is a problem. And I'm afraid. And it's a legit fear. Like you feel like it's a legit fear because the enemy is using factual events to cause fear. Now, sometimes he uses stuff that hasn't even happened yet, and you just make up things to be afraid of. But, oftentimes it's something that's going on in your life, something that's happening with the family, sickness, whatever is happening. And that fear is very real and is very in front of you, but it's also a torment from the enemy himself, right?
Yeah.
And so that's why we have comforting scriptures that tells us over and over again in the Bible to fear not, to cast our cares upon the Lord because he cares for us, to not to be anxious, but to be prayerful all the time, right? So we have these scriptures to comfort us, to reassure us of God and who he is and his comforting hand and his will and his provision. And even if something bad is going to happen, say a death or, a illness or whatever, something is going to happen, but it's within his will and it's within his plan, surrender. And that sucks. And that's scary. But do you have to be tormented with fear while you're going through something that sucks and can be scary?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that makes sense.
It's real. It's real because, like, when you think about it, like when the 12 spies went to spy out the Promised Land, they saw giants, right? They saw the grapes and they saw the food, and it was massive, right? They're like, oh my goodness, this is land flowing milk and honey, right? But it's also a land flowing with giants, and these giants. I mean, these real. Like, I think sometimes we look at the account of Joshua and Caleb and the other spies, and them choosing to be afraid. They had legitimate reason, man. I mean, these weren't just tall people, right? These were massive Nephilim that were massive warriors, not like big, slow, Cyclops looking dudes off of some kind of pseudo horror movie. No, these were big warriors.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? They had a right to be afraid.
Yeah.
And so just as it was factual that they were facing giants, it was also factual that God that God had already prevailed for them.
Yeah.
Right? Going into there.
And it's somewhere in the Old Testament that I can't even remember what book I was in because I was reading it with Victory and it was so exciting. It was so exciting. Man, where was it? I'm like, do I have the right journal? Hold on, I'm gonna look. I don't even think I have the right journal.
Oh, goodness.
Y'all, I had a prophetic vision after reading this scripture with my daughter. And I think I'm in the wrong journal. I think this is my prophetic dream journal and not the.
So, side note: if you have prophetic dreams, get your journal, write them down. Excuse me. Get your journal, write them down, and let it remind you of God's faithfulness, right? So if He gives you a dream, he gives you a dream of whatever it is. Write it down, and then if it comes to pass, or if things start, if it comes to pass, then you'll know, man, that God spoke to you, right? And you get to just take part in this supernatural dialogue and experience with the Holy Spirit. So
I started taking things like that more seriously when I read, and I know I've read it my whole life because I've always known the story of the virgin birth. But it was after Mary had Jesus that she reflected on everything and stored it in her heart.
yeah, she pondered on it.
She pondered on it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, that was personal.
Mm-hmm.
It gives me chills thinking about it even now.
Yeah.
And so I just started thinking about moments and things that the Lord gives me and how sometimes they're just special for me and Him, So I like writing things down. I say all of that to say that. I'm not sure if this is even in here, but anyways, okay. Where was I at in the Bible? They're moving through. They're conquering armies. They're taking the land. So this is after Exodus, right?
Joshua.
And they're actually taking the land in the Bible, and they're coming against armies that are like speckles of sand on a seashore.
That's right, Joshua.
And it was probably Joshua.
Yeah.
And I read one scripture and it said, "Do not be afraid of them. I tell you, they will be dead men in your hands by morning."
Mm-hmm.
You're looking at this huge army. There's like fleas across the whole sea. And God's telling you not to be afraid. And your army's like not that big. It's like, God's like, they're all going to be dead men in your hand in the morning. So like, don't even be afraid of them. Like,
yeah.
But
and I mean, I want to add this. There's so many things to really gather from the Kadesh Barnea experience, right? When they were in the garden, when they were in the wilderness, going to the Promised Land. So at first, they when they had the initial opportunity to go into the Promised Land, they didn't, right? They were afraid, and then everyone kind of agreed with the fear. They didn't want to listen to Joshua and Caleb, and then they kind of thought about it and said, well, okay. It's all okay. Now let's do it. And then Joshua, I think Joshua Moses was like, no, don't do it now. We should have did it yesterday.
Should have did it when he said.
If we go this time, we're gonna die, right? And so, excuse me. So I think that's critical. If you go forth and let's say you fell at you tremble, you fell at fear. Well, you wanna wait till you know that God is leading you to do something else again, right? I mean, if you miss it, you're not gonna miss it forever, hopefully. So if you feel like, oh man, I had a ministry that I was supposed to start, or I had a business I was supposed to start, or I was supposed to go do something for God, but I got distracted. Life happened. Some giants came and terrified me, right? Pray. Wait on the Lord's direction to try again, right? And he may have you go a different route, right? I think what's interesting is that they crossed the Jordan to go into the Promised Land the second time. I don't know if they was going to cross the Jordan the first time. I have no idea. As I'm thinking about it, I can't remember details. I don't know if they just went straight, if they were just going to go straight in, right? But at least when it was time for Joshua to go over it, they had to cross the Jordan, right? And so I mean, it could be a different route in which they was going. I don't know. Don't quote me on that one. I gotta brush up on the story.
Right here. Israel crosses the Jordan.
No, I'm talking before that one.
Oh, okay.
Like the first time that they was going to go to the Promised Land, I don't know if they was going to cross the Jordan that first time, and they could have. I mean, I don't know. So what I'm saying is that there may be a different direction that you might be taking, that God might grace you to take to get to that Promised Land. So let's say, for example, man, okay, God was leading you to start a church, right? And in that season, I mean, he had the building ready. He had the people ready, but you had to step into it and for God to bless you with that ministry. Well, because you let fear or whatever, you let whatever stop you from doing it. Maybe this next go around, he may have you start a podcast, right? He might have you do something different to get to that expected end that he has for you for the kingdom. So I'm just saying you want to pray about it when you feel like oh, okay, God, I missed it. Pray, seek him so that when the time comes again, the second opportunity comes again to go forth in faith, you'll do it. You'll do it how he wants you to do it. So
yeah, I love that. So yeah, and man, I had something in my head to say, and now it's like flown away. But yeah, so we were on this journey. We ran out of money again.
Yeah.
You were working for this guy, wholesaling homes, basically doing the same thing you were doing, only he was running you leads consistently, correct? And you were yeah. And so we were at this crossroads again on whether to go back to the company. Oh, we already talked about that.
Yeah. So when we was traveling, so we get to the end of our traveling, right? Where 2020 is upon us, right? So I'm gonna say it like that. 2020 is upon us, and at this point we're out of money, right? We're out of money again. We're in Florida. You probably can see the video. I think we still have the video on the channel. We was in Florida, and man, we're out of money, like for real. The Amazon business has dried up. Kind of we just weren't in a profitable position, right?
Yeah.
Our bank accounts got seized by the Texas comptroller. That was interesting. That's what really brought that fear on, man. That was crazy.
Yeah, that was probably the worst of it. It couldn't have gotten worse. Like we could have stuck in there.
Yeah, that was the icing on the cake.
That was the moment where like decisions were made to go back to comfort.
Yeah, that was crazy. Like for real.
That was wild.
Like seize our accounts. And
I mean, I never would have thought that would be something that could even happen to us because we weren't rich.
No.
Like,
no.
Dang.
At all whatsoever. It was excuse me. It was what they doing? Cause I was late filing my taxes. Filing my quarterly taxes.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
And so they go seize my accounts over that. I was like, are you kidding me?
It's like, dang, you didn't miss out.
They estimated how much I owed. Right? They estimated how much I should have reported.
Turns out we didn't owe them anything.
And then froze.
But we had to pay a bunch of fees to get our accounts back unfrozen.
For that amount. I said, what? Insane, man. I learned a lot during that season. So, I'm just telling you, man, we learned a lot, right? And so when we talk about, when I was saying that these fears are real, they were real.
Yeah.
We're looking like we can't access our account. We have money in there, but we can't touch it. That's crazy.
All of them. Every bank account, we could not access anything. That was
crazy.
That was insane.
Crazy.
We had to borrow money from our teenager, like $15. I think she had cash to put gas in our truck.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Oh, that was insane.
And then what happened at the same time? This is God, y'all. The largest RV manufacturer reached out to us and wanted to do a photo shoot.
That was like, wild. No, they didn't just want to do a photo shoot. They wanted me and Ariel to write a blog for them, and it was about her growing up on the road, and you know, us raising her on the road and what that's like and all of that, and just a real candid thing. But came along with it was a photo shoot. So
yeah.
But it paid really well.
Yeah.
We didn't understand at the time that like sometimes companies take their time to pay you. Like that, we thought we were going to get paid like right after we did the work, but it was fine. It just, you know, when you're already in a tight position, that sucked.
Deposit me, like PayPal. You know what I'm saying? I guess they couldn't have did that. Well, that would have been better. Shoes, man. That was terrible.
Yeah.
excuse me. But yeah, and so but we saw God's provision. Even excuse me. Even in that, we saw okay.
You need a cough drop, babe? Maybe I can go get you one.
That's all right.
I know.
No, you can go.
Okay, I'll go get you one.
No, I'm saying you can talk.
Oh, okay. What were we at? Oh, yeah. So they reached out to us to write this blog. We write it in like no time because we gotta get this done.
Like,
so
look, hey, Chat GPT was not at that
Chat
time.
GPT, well, no, and I don't even really
No, it wasn't
know
out
how
at that
to
time.
even use
Shoots, man.
that well. So we wrote this blog post for Thor Industries. Am I allowed to say their name? I mean, well, it's public. Fine. They posted the blog already. But so anyways, wrote this blog for them. They sent we met them because we were at a casino parking lot, and like that's not very attractive.
Yeah. So we went to the Everglades. Yeah.
So we met up with them at the Everglades to take photos.
I don't even know how we even got in the Everglades. We ain't had no money.
It was the Lord.
For real.
We had no money. We literally couldn't even have fun at the Everglades.
Yeah, we couldn't even have fun at the Everglades.
But we had a little bit of fun.
All the fun
we had God moments. We had God moments.
It had to be free fun.
It was free fun.
And we didn't know because the Everglades is like, oh, most of the Everglades is down in the water. Yeah, you got to pay for that.
Pay for the boats. And
so, man, we just walking around
Counts
the
of
park.
Frozen. So that's us.
Just walking around the park, looking at the manatees in the boating area, you know.
I know. And bless that photographer. She was trying to like, because she does like RV photography, like, what do you call it? What I do like design photography. Interior design.
Interior design, yeah.
For RVs. And so she was trying to promote her business, and I was just like, sis, can't pay you, so thanks.
Yeah. Sorry.
But anyways, I wish I still had her information because maybe I'd share it on here. She was really sweet.
Yeah,
and she made us look really good in her pictures. She did an amazing job with those pictures. If I find her information, I'll share it because she was good. But anyways, yeah. So and maybe she'll see this video and think that's hilarious because maybe she'll remember us.
Right. Maybe.
But you would never know what we were going through. I'll tell you that much. But she came, she took photos, everything was beautiful. We, the RV looked really great. We ran into some manatees. Oh, I thought you were looking at me like that.
I'm sorry.
An osprey with a fresh fish catch. Yeah. That was fun.
And I took a picture of that and like I put it on a stock photo. It's gotten like 10,000 downloads.
Are they free downloads?
Yeah, man. Dang, like, we could have made some money off of that, man. Like 10,000. I took a picture.
You could have made $10,000.
I'm like, man.
We weren't in a position to be giving stuff away.
I'm like, man. For real, I think it got like 10,000, like $10,000.
That was a cool photo. I think you should have charged $1 for it at least.
I don't know how it works. But.
You mean I'm kind of mad at you now? $10,000?
No, I mean, I don't even know how it works.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, bless your heart. Back to the story. We're getting distracted.
Like, man, we could have made some money during them times.
Especially during that time.
This is later on.
I know, but during that time, that would have been really useful.
Yeah, I don't even know when I did it. It's
I think you were trying to like gain traction from your landscape photography, so you're trying to make a name for yourself in that. But and he takes really good landscaping photos. He is really good. But because I think he just enjoys being in nature.
If I had it my way, I would probably do like wildlife photography all the time.
Yeah, he loves it.
I'll just get me out there in nature.
Yeah, he got into like human portraits and stuff just because he was trying to make some money, especially during that time. One thing about Roland is he wasn't going to let us starve to death.
Nah.
He was going to figure it out.
So I even shot a wedding in Arizona. Like,
during that time.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was wild.
It was crazy, but we survived.
In Vegas. It was in Vegas. Shot a whole wedding.
And it was during Halloween. I remember because that was the first Halloween we didn't celebrate Halloween.
Oh yeah.
And we never really celebrated Halloween. Let me not say it like that, but like it was the first Halloween we didn't go to a trunk or treat.
Yeah.
We didn't look for something like that. Because we could have definitely found a church, took our kids to their event and thought we had a cool, fun experience, But we did a little thing and researched. I don't want to get too far off the story though, because it's such a God story. So I'm coming back to the story because God is in this story and y'all are gonna know it. So
okay, so I think if we was to summarize a lot of that time, it was really Thomas Shelby's life, right? I think that's really what it was. It was it was us just going out the adventure of life, doing going for it. It just excuse me, and living life, on fire for him and running after him and taking all these adventures and jumping out by faith and just doing all kind of things. And just kind of like really we said, adventures and stories over things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what a lot of our life has been, and it still is. It's still about the adventures and stories. And I just think those stories and those adventures continue to grow and change, right? I mean, if you watch any good story, right, you have the climax and it just keeps going, and these events and all those things. So I think was interesting. We come we coming out that we come out that season. We go back to comfort, right? I found another job.
How that happened? Roland found, yeah. So we got back home. Because Roland the Holy Spirit was talking to this man, because I didn't understand it at the time. He was rushing to get back home. I'm like, why are you rushing to get back home? We need to, figure this out, because we didn't have a home to go back to. We literally, came to the end of our lease. We didn't renew. We didn't have a house to go to. Like, my mom was the manager of a storage facility. She didn't have like a driveway we could surf.
Right.
So
storage.
We didn't have anywhere to go. Like, there was nowhere to go. And he just felt like so intense about getting home. I was like, okay, fine. But he was like waking us up at 6 a.m. to get home.
I think one part of it was just, I think, you going back home, you kind of, okay, if I go back home, we could start photography. We know where to go. We could restart a business.
I guess that makes logical sense.
Back where we know the area, right, and have friends and know people, and we could we could get something going, reset, and then go. I was not thinking about the 2020 thing.
Yeah, then
at all.
2020 happened literally within like a week. The next day. The next day we make it to my mom's job.
We pull into Houston, park the RV, and they shut the whole city
down. And they
down.
shut everything down.
We had no idea what was going on.
We were in shock. We were like, no idea what on earth is going on? Like,
I'm thinking, we back in Houston. All right, catch a breath. Let me go hustle up some business. Right. And then we get this thing going, get us some clients, we get some stuff going, right? Something.
Yeah, and the whole city shuts down. People are afraid of each other now. I was like, man, literally ruined the whole plan.
Like, we could reset the Amazon business. Yeah. We could, all the things. Yeah. Like, we know we know what the source
stores to go to. We know.
Let's just rebuild. Let's slow down.
Instead of like when we were on the road doing it, we were finding out the stores as we went. Like, obviously, we didn't know the area. We didn't know what the best stores are. So we were like going in and digging, which, whatever, that's fine. But that makes perfect logical sense.
Yeah. So then we get here and then boom, like
everything
shuts down. We're like, God, what?
And not only did everything shut down, but like people began to literally be tormented in their spirit with fear about something that they just didn't understand. Like, at the end of the day, I mean, you hear this man with the sniffles now. It happens.
Yeah.
It's literally not the end of the world. As you can see, we're here 5 years later. We're still standing.
Yeah.
But that happened, and people were terrified of each other and terrified to get together. And that was a whole nother journey to walk. But so our plan to do these things kind of got thwarted because society was insane.
Yeah. And so I was just like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to have to go back to another sales job. And so I went back to I worked for another business-to-business seller, a sales company. Then I ended up going back to my old company.
100% commission.
100% commission. Yeah.
I'm impressed by this guy because
I ain't never did 100%. Well,
I guess I did really well.
I did well.
I mean, he was stressed out, but
I was, man. 100%
he couldn't take a day off.
It's really interesting. But, and I guess 100% commission in the way that they had it formed was just different, right? I mean, it's like you have a job, you have a nine to nine job, 9 to 7 job,
9 to 9,
right? 9 to 9. Excuse me. And it's 100% commission, but you don't have a lot of autonomy, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's like, well, hold on. So now I feel like I have a 9 to 9 job that I have to show up to, and I can't take off. Mm-hmm. It's one thing when you own your own business, you know, you might work a 12, 16-hour shift, but you own it. So
it feels different.
It's a different feeling.
Mm-hmm.
But when you still answer to somebody else and they can tear up your contract, and you have to, you have to show up. You're paid like an employee. You're worked like an employee, but you getting 1099 setup. It doesn't. I mean, I felt like I was trapped. So like when I wanted to take a break, just to go on vacation. I mean, literally, I'm sitting there like, if I vacate too long, I won't get paid. Like each day I'm on vacation, I'm not getting paid at all. You know what I'm saying? Like at all. Excuse me. Not getting paid at all. And so that was a whole different level of stress. So I was like, yeah, this ain't gonna work. So then I went back to corporate sales and again, back to comfort, And so God provided through that job though, right? Even though it's stressful and it has things and it doesn't fall out and all that stuff, God provided for almost a year through that job until that opportunity with my previous company came about.
Yeah, it was right on time.
Right on time. And so again, I guess when I think about just going around this mountain, in the wilderness, that's what it was. We crossed over a stone over here, smacked the stone, got some water out, right? Mm-hmm. And we're still just going around the desert. Truly, that's what it is. Like we get there, we're like, oh man, it's getting tough again. Smote the rock. Well, we're supposed to speak to at that time, all these things, and so, but God still provided all of our needs in that time. Well, so then we're going through, but then I had this moment, right? I had this moment where God was like, I was saying like, we wanted more kids, all these things.
We can't leave that part of the story out, because
wanted more kids, and so I'm sitting there like, well, man, we can't afford the ones we have, right? Yeah. And I'm like, well, if we could just wait just a little bit longer to get to this financial position, then let's do this. Mm-hmm. And so clearly, and then I heard God finally one day just like smack me across the head. He was like, dude, you haven't ever had enough money. Then I still provided. So what makes you think I won't do it even when you got kids? And I was like, I guess so, huh?
Yeah.
And that's when the whole light bulb went off, and I was like,
were you still with the other company when we got pregnant with Amy? Or was it you had just started?
Yeah, we're back with the company.
Yeah, so he gets hired back with the company. Yeah. We decided to try to finally grow our family, which made me very excited because I've been wanting to have more children for a really long time. Mm. And we've been waiting. And so we got pregnant immediately.
Yeah.
And super excited. A few months later, lose baby. Go through the worst miscarriage ever.
Oh, yeah.
Because of the time season that we were in, still in the 2020 phase of everything. And so I didn't want to go to the hospital I went to one hospital just to confirm. And that didn't work out. I got kicked out because I just didn't want to go along with their protocol. Which nothing bad had happened yet. Like it didn't get bad yet. Like obviously it was bad that I lost the baby, but my body didn't start reacting in a tragic way until a few days later.
Yeah.
So the next day we went to the midwife that I just hired the day before. we went to her office and she had an ultrasound machine, so she checked everything and we had lost the baby. She confirmed. And so I was just waiting for my body to pass the baby, and I planned on doing it at home and not going through a whole medical rigmarole because I already had saw what was going on and I didn't want to be in that kind of environment. It was very stressful for me. And so tried to do my best. Maybe about, I think this happened on a
Jeez.
Thursday. Friday went to the midwife.
Oh yeah.
Monday, Roland had just decided to do beekeeping, and there was a beekeepers meeting.
Oh yeah.
And he was like, "Do you want to come with me?" And I was like, "Yes," because I could get my mind off things and do something happy. Like that's what I was thinking. Like not be just sitting in bed crying all the time and waiting for my body to pass the baby. So I went with him to this beekeepers meeting, and sure enough, my body decides to start passing. And I was passing these clots and things, just going to the bathroom, in the meeting. Like the meeting, like, I don't even know, like 2 hours,
Yeah.
and I'm just passing just hundreds of blood clots, just hundreds of them.
Yeah.
And we leave. On the way home, I'm just feeling like this welling up inside of me, like my body wants to release all of these blood clots, but it can't go anywhere. And they're just like, it was just awful. It was the best way I could describe it is showing you this hand motion. It was the worst. And there was like, I don't even know how far the drive was. Was it 30, 45 minutes?
Yeah, about
35 minutes?
Home?
Yeah.
It was probably about 30 minutes home, and then it was 30 minutes to the...
Yeah. So,
now,
but
and to clarify, home was the RV.
Yeah, home.
So we in the RV.
Home was the RV. And so, but we had an office, and we were, remember, we didn't want to put the kids through seeing that, so we stayed in the office, which our office was at the time right outside of our RV.
Yeah.
And so I just chose to put on a robe and stay in there. And so I'm constantly going to the bathroom. We're talking to the midwife. Everything seems about normal, just the way we're describing things to her. But I mean, obviously she can't see what I look like, can't see all of these things that are going on. She's just talking to Roland over the phone. So she confirmed everything was fine. Everything was going how it should. And then hours and hours passed. We're like at 3 a.m. now. I'm still the same pattern, just passing all these blood clots. At this point, I'm weak. I'm dehydrated. I've been drinking water. I think I was drinking Gatorade or something like that. Some kind of electrolyte drink. I can't remember which one it was. And I don't know. All I know is at one point it's like 3 a.m. and I fainted. I literally fainted, and Roland caught me. And at that point he was like, "Okay, I'm calling it. I'm taking you to the hospital."
Yeah.
So he took me to the hospital, literally had to fight to be seen because I refused to wear just going to put my hand there, because logically it doesn't make any sense. I'm profusely bleeding all over your floor. Someone's got to clean that up. You have to do a vaginal exam because something's not right. Right. So, and I'm needing oxygen in order to keep blood cells pumping. So none of it made sense. And I just felt like if I put that on, I was going to die. I probably shouldn't have said that word on the internet. But if I put that on, I wasn't going to be here anymore. And I knew that in my soul. And so I just refused. And maybe you might have to delete that word out.
We'll see.
No, you might have to delete it out for real because people be getting in trouble. But anyways, so I
live and uncut
fought for my right to not do that. And I'm doing that barely standing, you guys. This is crazy. And Roland's trying to defend me, and he's having to go back and forth. And finally, he calls down the head, whoever was in charge of the hospital at that time, in the middle of the night. Literally, no one's there. No one is in the hospital. It's ghost town. Yeah. And they're acting like this. It was just insane. Finally, I'm seen by a nurse who didn't want to help me and a doctor who didn't want to see me. And the nurse is shaking. She's so distraught. And upset, scared. I don't know. I don't think she should be a nurse, personally, if you're that scared of
a patient.
who's not even
Right, come on.
SICK. It's like I was not there for that. So, but and the doctor comes in like Darth Vader in a whole suit and multiple of these
Multiple.
and a shield. It was weird. It was weird. And I got treated really, really badly. And I could barely stand. I could barely breathe. I could barely think. I could barely hold myself up. Stand up. And I just prayed. I prayed for them. I prayed that because me and Roland, we were working so hard to like comfort them. You know, it's like
real.
They should be trying to comfort us.
We were
Literally,
comforting them.
the worst thing that could possibly happen to us happens, and we're trying to comfort them. And they are, you know, it's like y'all are supposed to be. It's going to be okay. You know, like. Anyways, that was crazy. So anyways, I prayed for them that they would do their job, you know, and I would get out of there. They didn't do half their job that they were supposed to do, but, you know, I stood up and whatever needed to come out came out. It was all over the floor. Came out. And they gave me saline and that was it. And so like I spent like and I'm telling you this story because this is coinciding with Roland getting his new job and the difficulty and the journey of, I don't even know why I'm telling the story actually.
It's okay. Keep on.
Oh, I started telling it because the difficulty and the journey of everything kind of meshing together is like chaos. Yeah. Anyway, so we get home after horrible care. Like I didn't get blood. I should have gotten blood because I lost a lot and I quite literally couldn't stand up and walk. I mean, remember we were living in an RV. I couldn't walk a few feet to the bathroom without feeling I was going to pass out and dizzy and the world spinning around me. Where am I supposed to be looking?
No, can you hear me there?
Oh, the world spinning around me. And by the time I made it back to the bed, I was extremely exhausted. My heart was racing. And anyways, it was awful. And I did what now I know many women who go through a miscarriage has to do, and they feel like they have to do. And I feel like their feelings are valid because I went through it, which is just pick yourself up as quickly as you can. And I felt like I was forcing myself to stand up, forcing myself to be okay when physically I wasn't okay. Like I literally couldn't stand up. And even like going to church, like I went back to church way too soon. I wasn't ready. And even like talking to people at church, like I felt like because I was in leadership or whatever, that I had to like stand up and talk to people. Like it was rude for me to sit down, you know, like things like that, you know, it was unspoken. Like people didn't tell me I needed to do that, but I just felt like I needed to, like I was supposed to, you know? And so that was weird. Now I'm rambling, am I?
Oh, so pick it up. So again, I mean, that was a challenging time. It was a challenging time. And we saw God walk with us, cover us, protect us, comfort us, really. A lot of comfort came. We definitely learned God to be a comforter, for sure. At least I did.
Yeah.
And
because I mean, during that time, like that was the first time we ever went through like inner healing. Because
and we didn't know it was called inner healing.
Obviously, our marriage, you know, caught a hiccup because of this horrible situation that happened. And whenever I did feel better, I wanted to try again. And Roland wanted to wait, which I was just totally against because I felt like I'd been waiting for years and I was really upset about it. So he wanted to wait. I didn't. And that caused us to have a hiccup. And we got a counselor, got a hold of a counselor that was connected to our church. And we talked through our issues. And I felt like she really did help us. Like, like a lot. You know, I stand on biblical counselors, Christian counselors, because they lead you in the way of the word and the
They
Lord.
should. They should.
They
lead you in it.
should. And she did.
Should.
She definitely
Yeah.
did. And one of the things she had us to do was inner healing, which involved repentance, involved giving things over to the Lord, involved releasing fear and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And then she did something else, and she was basically like, "Don't talk about it until I think the 4th of July.
Oh yeah. Something like that.
Don't bring it up. Don't get mad about it. Don't talk about it until the 4th of July." I'll never forget that.
I didn't even remember that.
Because I remember it was our anniversary, and a friend of ours had gifted us a hotel stay. And the day we were leaving the hotel, or the day before we were leaving the hotel, one of the two, I can't remember, was the 4th of July. And I remember being so nervous, and I was getting so worked up because now the day is here and we have to talk about it.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
And we would get so emotional about it because it was an emotional moment, you know? And I really wanted to try again because like I said, I've been waiting all these years to try for, to have more children. And then we agree, and it was beautiful. Like everybody was happy. Everybody was happy to have this baby. And then we lost the baby like that. It's just like nothing you can do about it,
Yeah.
And then like the option of trying again was out the door because of trauma, And I was mad at trauma. I was mad at the whole thing. I'm like, this sucks, And I remember it came time for us to talk about it, and it was like God. It was easy. It wasn't even a conversation. We didn't argue. We didn't have a spat about it. It's like we both had a God moment. I surrendered the fear and the anxiety and all of that stuff that I was hanging on to. And I can't speak for Roland, his process, but when it came down to having that conversation, it wasn't even a conversation. It was like, let's totally do it,
Yeah.
And even at that moment, like our circumstances weren't ideal, but we chose to surrender anyways. And it wasn't like we were even actively trying. It was like we weren't actively trying not to, if that makes sense. And then before we knew it, a few months later, we were pregnant with Sunflower. And she was our beautiful rainbow baby. And so now he's with this current company. And we end up moving to Houston out of the RV. The RV was starting to give us so many problems. It was starting to fall apart. The land we bought was not fun. And so we moved to the city for a short period of time, for like a year. Through our church, we became like an inner city missionary family. And I found out I was pregnant with Sunflower almost not too long after we moved in. And anyways, just saw the Lord provide, just take care of the whole pregnancy. I was able to have a home birth before. I think Sunflower was about 2 months old. She was 2 weeks old when we signed the deed for this property that we live on now.
Oh, yeah.
And she was 2 months old when we moved out here. And so just seeing God take care of that pregnancy, like that apartment, that time away from the stress and that land was total care.
Yeah.
So it just felt like a break,
Yeah.
But it's so crazy because even in that apartment, like I never really unpacked. It never really felt like home. It was always like we were at a hotel.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it felt. Like we had a long hotel stay. Like it never felt like home. So we never made it a home. We never made it a home. We barely had a living room put together. Like, it was just kind of like, this is a waiting room. And once the season's up, literally I had Sunflower. We moved out. And the Lord provided for the next season, which is the land we live at now. So I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the story did make sense.
So we're back. We're back. I'm back at the old company. And and God's providing. But still really can't progress, right? Progress to the next level of which I wanted to. All because, like I said, God told us that we were going to do real estate full time. And I think it's also just maybe just how we roll with God. You know, it's like, okay, Lord, we trust you like all the way, like
Mhm.
no matter what, you know. And and I think it's that is us just saying, Lord, we trust you. And so here we are, back at the old company. It's another 4 years now, right? Like this wasn't like yesterday, you know, all this happened and then boom. We're like 4 years from that time, you know? And then so God brings it back up. Hey, you know, I called y'all to real estate. You know?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, so we're looking like, okay, well, we've done the wholesaling, you know,
Mhm.
which is really, that's only risk. You can wholesale, you can be an investor, right? And we
Yeah.
weren't ever in position. I mean, we could do the wholesaling, but we weren't in position to be an investor. And I was thinking, well, if I stay with the company, build up some money, and I just go to an investing side and then make my way in that way. Nope, nope. That's not how God wanted it. And so, and there's people who do that, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just you have to pray about God, how does God want you to go about doing something, and that's what it is. And so, excuse me. So then we're back in it, and then God lays this. Then God lays this term on us. What is titled alder and clay, right?
Mhm.
Alder being a tree, and clay being clay, right? And so that's literally what we've been. I mean, we have learned to stand, like stand amongst all the turbulence, right? Stand. We stand when there was global global unrest. We stood we stood in spiritual unrest, even to the, you know, to us being fired from churches, from a church, in ministries.
It was only one church, y'all. Don't
One
think we
church,
go around getting
right?
fired.
It
That
wasn't
ain't the
just
case.
one church, two ministries,
Was it two ministries?
basically, right? Because we were hired by one ministry, and yeah.
I never thought about that. But we left the. I
I'm
mean, I
just
guess we
saying.
left the
I
other
guess we left the
ministry.
other
But
one.
yeah,
We
but
got, you know.
whatever. Y'all know the story.
Okay, so
We talked about it before.
so it's but we learn to stand, right? Stand on God, and stand with God, stand on the principles and the truth of God, and stand in our trust with Him. And so that it comes from Psalm 1, that we believe that we planted like a tree next to a river, right? And so that we draw from the river, right? We draw strength from the river. That's what the altar represents. And then the clay is that we are being molded by the Father, right? We are always being molded by Him, and
Mhm.
we're clay in the Father's hands. And so we feel like what God is shifting us to is that, and so this is why Thomas Family Life is making this turn, right? That there's a sense of 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 God. It's still a sense of adventure. He called us to real estate, and that's what we're going to do, right?
Mhm.
And so what he's going to do through that, we have no idea. But that's why it's changing to Alder and Clay. Like Thomas Family Life, we're always Thomas Family Life. But I think as we are exiting the the wilderness, and we're moving into the promised land, so I'm gonna say that. So as we were coming, as I feel like we're coming out of the wilderness, it's us saying, okay, God, we get it now,
Mhm.
right? We can stay here, and you'll provide for us until we die, you know, until we come to meet you, right? And that's just because He's good, and He will do that. And I think many people stay in the wilderness because they're too afraid of the giants in the promised land,
Mhm.
when God simply just wants you to show up,
Yeah.
right? And He will take care of the giants. And so, because it's not you fighting the battle, it's Him fighting the battle through you. Now, there's many people. Now, if you really think about it, the Jews weren't the only one who fought the giants, right? Many of other cultures fought them. And that's recorded all through history, right? Even the Native Americans fought Nephilim, right? So We're not saying that you're not saying that just saying us believers are the only ones who get to prevail over them. I'm not saying that, but it's putting everything in perspective.
Mm-hmm.
They fought them, but the Lord fought for the Jews.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we're not approaching the fears of this world and of our circumstances with a personal or with this pride of that we're going to defeat it, right? It's like, no, God is going to defeat it, and we're going to trust Him to defeat the giants that we're looking at, and so the giants of poverty and fear and lack and it's really the main ones that comes to mind for me. That God is going to defeat them, and He is, right. And we break its hold. We break its stronghold off of us, right? Coming out of full agreement with it, canceling those generational curses, and then trusting God with the outcome.
Mm.
That's what that's what Alder and Clay represents. You know what I'm saying? And so here we are again. I mean, literally, I just put in my 2 weeks with our company, with my company, so that we can run after this thing full time. You know what I'm saying? So we can do real estate full time. And so it was turbulent. Like, let me just say that it was turbulent, right? There was some turbulence that was happening there.
It was time.
And I think it was just that. It's just because it was time. Could have stayed and went through all of the things and kept eating manna, sure. But I know that God was calling us to the next thing. And so that's what we did. We jumped. You know, we jumped and we're leaping. And it's so cool because we're seeing God provide and bring things now, right now, right, mm-hmm. right now, clients now, right. And it was like, oh my goodness, this is cool. Again, we came at real estate from wholesale the first time, and this time he has us coming at it from the retail side as a real estate agent, realtors, you know, and that's fine. Mm-hmm. And so we just trusting Him with the process, and that's the whole thing. And what I think what is super cool too is just how we're coming about it, how we're doing this thing as a real estate agent, the goals that we had, that we saw in MLM and mm-hmm. all these things. We see it being able to be accomplished with what we're doing now mm-hmm. in real estate with this side of real estate. And we're like, wow, you know, this is amazing. Even the city that we're in, you know, city we're in it's untapped for how God is leading us to do this. Mm-hmm. And so we're like, this is fully, this is the promised land for us to take, right? And so we're doing it full fledged. So Alder and Clay, there's so much you're gonna see here. It's not just gonna be just a real estate channel, right? Just a family vlog, just all. This is our life, right? And it's still a Thomas Friendly life. It's still our life. We're still going to share it with you. It's still going to have it's still going to have the real estate. It's going to have faith. It's going to have family. It's going to have everything. It's us. It's us. You get us. You get faith, family, real estate. That's what you get when you come to Alder and Clay. Faith. So don't be surprised when you see the Bible studies come up and all. It's just us.
A part of our life. We see family vlogging.
Yeah.
It's part of our life.
You see us go antiquing and just walking through homes and showing homes. That's just our life. Yeah. It's just what we're doing.
I like the antiquing part.
Yeah. And just the antiquer. I mean, when you see how she designed our house today, I mean, it's all antique. And it's super cool. Everyone loves it.
God provides.
Yeah.
He literally does.
So if you need someone to do your interior decorating. Vintage style. That's Angel right there.
No, literally though, the Lord literally answered so many prayers. Like our home was literally designed and put together by the Lord. I did tell Him what I wanted, and then He literally provided. It's all Him. So that's exciting too. That's exciting because He gives such good gifts, and He filled our home with quite literally rare and beautiful treasures.
Yeah, it's rare.
So
yeah, one of a kind.
Yeah.
You ain't finding it. Now, who knows? That I mean, there may be an alder and clay brand that may come out. You just never know. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows
That
what
sounds
happens?
fun.
Right?
Yeah. Stay
Might have a
tuned.
whole shopping barn or something going on.
Okay, we've talked about that. I'm really excited about that part.
Yeah. Who knows? Who knows what you go see?
Preferably sooner than later.
Right?
But yeah, I will just enjoy that so much. You guys come along with me while I go antiquing, while I just go through my process and this is one thing I love. Like I go antiquing with my mom and my daughter. Excuse me. We all go into the same store. We all pick up something different. Not just like something different, but like different types. Like Ariel's obsessed with people and their stories and pictures of strangers. And I think that's weird, but she loves history and she loves thinking about these people and their lives, the lives that they possibly lived and making up stories about them. And it's a whole thing for her. And I like trinkets and all kinds of other things. And then my mom likes glassware. And I just think that's just so cool. But like certain type of glassware. And I just think that's so cool how we all go into the same place. We're all family, and you would think that we had a common like style, and maybe we do, but like everything's completely different when we go in there.
Yeah.
Am I rambling again?
No, I think that, so. I think I'm going to get into fly fishing.
I think you've always wanted to get into fly fishing.
Yeah, because I fly fished when I was a kid.
I think you should do that.
But there's this vintage style. There's this classic style to fly fishing. I just think it's cool.
Let's get this man a reel. He sounds passionate about that.
I mean, honestly, when I was a kid, I used to tie my own flies. I used to make my own flies. Now, whether they actually look like a fly,
I remember you saying that.
Yeah, whether they actually look like a fly, I have no idea. But I at least tied them and made them. So
that's so cool.
But then that fits my whole thing about bugs and little animals and things like that.
Yeah, he loves nature, like I said.
Yeah. So,
can you imagine those nature shots?
Come on, out there.
Yeah.
So
maybe you can teach me how to fly fish.
Hey man, fly fish is legit. Legit. So but yeah, y'all, this is we want to encourage you that if you are excuse me, if you are going through, if you feel in the turbulence of life and you're like, God, for real, what is going on? Stop and pray. Pray and ask him. Excuse me. Pray and ask for guidance. He'll answer you, or he will. It's his good will it's his good pleasure to speak with you and to commune with you and to dine with you. And that's what he wants to do. So we would encourage you to do it. Do it as a couple, right? Talk to him. He is the Lord of your family. He's the Lord of your household. Y'all come together and talk to the Lord together, to him, right? And we know that he'll lead you because he's done it for us, right? And he's done it for others too. So, welcome. And we want you to be encouraged.
Yes. Very exciting things. So stay tuned and come along this journey with us. We would love it if you would subscribe, like this video, share any of the videos that you love, and we would greatly appreciate it. Yeah.
As always, stay rooted in Christ.
Stay rooted, y'all.
Till the next video. Peace.